Welcome to Integrate Yourself, everybody. I'm your host, Allison Pillow, and you can find me at pureenergypdx.com. Today, we're talking about inner resolutions. Resolution is something we hear a lot this time of year, and I'm going to really get into that today. I'm going to share some of what I'm working on as well this year, what we have to look forward to, and how you can look at resolutions a little differently. This month is about tying up loose ends within ourselves. It's about resolving the inner conflict that has quietly held us back year after year, going deeper into what's kept us from fully seeing ourselves and stepping toward our true potential. Inner resolution isn't about forcing change. It's about clarity. It's about alignment. And as we step into this new year, we're allowing space for something different to emerge, something new. New ways of moving, new ways of being, new ways of trusting our bodies and ourselves. This month, we resolve, we release, and we receive. And we step forward with renewed excitement for what we'll experience in the unknown. We're more grounded, more strong, and open to what's next. So the idea of a yearly resolution dates all the way back to the Babylonians. And since the 1970s, it's evolved into what we often recognize today as health and fitness resolutions. At its core, it's a reflection of what the previous year symbolized for us and an intention to move forward with better habits and a way of living that supports our health and well-being. And that all sounds beautiful, right? But conflict often arises when we try to force new habits without first exploring our inner world. And when that happens, the benefits of old familiar patterns tend to win out because the new is unknown and the unknown can feel very, very scary. So we try for a little while, or we go too hard and try to force change without addressing what's really underneath it all. The patterns our brain believes will keep us safe, our fears of rejection, the need to fit in, the desire to belong, the fear we'll make a mistake or mess up. Sometimes we hold on to old habits because they make us feel accepted. Again, familiar, right? But what if you could feel safe and stable from the inside first, without needing to reach outside yourself for it? Wouldn't that be liberating? You'd become self-led in your life. You'd be grounded. You'd be clear, no longer pulled in every direction or distracted by what everyone else is doing. Feeling rejection often means we're rejecting something within ourselves. For example, maybe we're rejecting support, love, abundance in our life. Maybe even our own power or our own divinity we're rejecting. And many of these feelings trace back to childhood, how we perceive the world and the people closest to us when we were young. Sometimes it was an experience that seemed innocent at the time, but the message we internalized was something like, to relax, I need to disconnect with alcohol, or to feel safe, I need comfort food. There's always an emotion tied to it. But when we stop rejecting what's there, we can face what we're doing with courage. Simply by acknowledging what we've been hiding from ourselves allows us to accept it and see it clearly for what it is. From that place of inner resolution, inspired action becomes possible. Real change begins. New habits start to stick because now you can actually enjoy them. You can see their value. You can receive the gifts these acts of self-love have for you. So when it comes to fitness, how are you approaching it? Is it punishment or is it joyful? Are you okay with discomfort when it shows up? Are you willing to face it? Are you willing to go there? Are you willing to work through it? So instead of giving yourself a month or 2 months to accomplish your fitness goals or your health habit goals, give yourself a year. Give yourself 2 years. There's no time limit here, right? You can give yourself as long as you need to. This is going to give you a little bit more relaxation in the nervous system in order to exhale and know that you have space. There's no rush. You can build up over time. You can learn how to be consistent over time for the things that matter most to you. And they will increase in value as you do that more and more. And you'll begin to show up more and more, and it'll become more joyful as you do more and more of it. So that's why we really want to give ourselves more time and space with these kinds of things. And that's why it hasn't worked in the past too, because people try to do it in a month or 2 months, and then they stop because they burn themselves out completely, or they don't have the inner resolution going on. They don't have the inner world matched up with what they want to see outside of them. Also, are you committing to yourself and your own dreams? Are you bringing that energy back to you? Are you focusing on the things that matter most to you in your own life? That's extremely important. For me, 2025 was an incredible year because I did that actually. I brought all the energy back to myself. I focused on the things that mattered most to me. I really focused on that this past year. And I began my journey to becoming an ATG coach. And I did it just for me, maybe for the first time, not for validation, not to be seen as more knowledgeable, not to improve my career, but although it is doing that too, but that wasn't the main reason. I did it for my knee, purely for the love of the potential I knew was within me and my knee. And I became curious about whether I could regain full mobility in my knee again. Since my reconstructive knee surgery in high school, I hadn't been able to bend my knee fully. And over the years, that limitation led to chronic low back pain, hip pain, swelling, and stiffness for many, many years. I couldn't figure out what was going on or how to fix it, So it led me to a lot of different modalities within my career. And that was good because I learned a lot. And it all brought me full circle back to this very simple but not easy way of training. The ATG system is pretty simple, but it takes a lot of work. You have to put in the consistency, you have to put in the work, right? And that's what I did. That's what I focused on mostly in 2025. Plus I wanted to get my body back into shape after menopause. So I wanted to get that metabolism back on track. And that was my other focus. I wanted to feel good again. I wanted to feel like myself and really be able to do the things I loved and feel good about my body as well. And I didn't know what would happen, but I thought, why not try? I'd seen Ben Patrick. He'd gone through 4 or more knee surgeries, and after years of dedicated work, I think he said something like 10 years using the knees over toes method and creating it, he reclaimed his incredible athletic ability. And that really inspired me because I think we can all reclaim our athletic ability here. I've always loved movement, but exercise used to feel like a job. I remember when it did. And as a former athlete, that's what it became toward the end of my career and well into my adulthood. I stayed consistent, but I was burned out. I kept going because I knew that exercise was the thing that I knew how to do. I knew how to do it, and I knew it was good for me, and I kept doing it, but I was burnt out a lot, and I felt pretty stuck. And of course, I went through many, many phases, and there's too many phases here to list. Maybe I will share that on another episode in the near future. But something shifted when I focused on my knee. It was really interesting. When I made it really, really simple, and I brought the energy back to myself, I realized at first I wasn't as strong as I could be, and that there was a lot more potential there that I hadn't even realized before. And so that curiosity spilled into other areas of my body that I'd been neglecting, and new goals I wanted to explore just for me. Excuse me. And new goals that I wanted to explore, like what I'm doing right now is as the dip. I'm really working on getting a full body weight dip. And that's been really tough for me because I've had this left shoulder that's been giving me issues for quite some time now. Mainly started to flare up when I hit menopause. But that's okay. It's something that I'm exploring, and it's already leading me to get this shoulder in better shape and get it aligned properly so that now the goal of the dip is actually getting me to a better place with my shoulder. It's taken me on a journey with my shoulder that is allowing me to find the best ways to strengthen it and align it so that I can do the dip, so that it doesn't hurt. And so it is about the dip, but it's not about the dip, right? It's about the things we're learning on the way and how in our experience there. Those goals were just for me, just for the joy of it, just to experience it. And it reminded me of being 5 years old, trying again and again, simply because it was fun. I remember being on water skis when I was 5 years old. I was learning how to water ski, kept falling, kept getting back up, kept wanting to try. I must have been out there for hours trying to get up on the skis. And then I finally did it. And so it's like that experience of the joy you feel when you're doing something for the first time and you're trying it. You're not getting frustrated, but you just keep trying because you think one of these times I'm going to make it. I'm going to do this. It's going to be amazing, right? But it's that curiosity that really drives it. And so I got to experiment and truly experience what my body could do. And I'll also share that I've already mentioned menopause, but menopause also changed my body composition, which forced me to get honest with myself, to get clear on what mattered most, what I truly valued as well. And I had to come to terms with, did I want to keep drinking wine even though it led to hot flashes and belly fat? And I decided, no, that's not really worth it, right? That sense of disconnection that I got from drinking didn't feel aligned anymore either for me. So once I started deeply connecting with myself, I realized that I didn't want to disconnect anymore. It just didn't feel natural. It was really wild when I realized that. So that's kind of the magic of this whole thing. The more that you can get present with yourself and connect with yourself with these, not necessarily the things that you're doing or doing that, but you being present with yourself is doing that within doing the things, right? If we can bring that into the mix more and more every day, this really builds that connection with ourselves. And then we don't feel the need to disconnect as much anymore. And so I decided the benefits of not drinking far outweighed what I was getting from it. And I thought it helped me, initially it was winding me down, right? I discovered it was actually creating unnecessary stress on my body too, on my digestion and my energy. And so when I let it go, it really improved all that as well. So this is just one example of how we tune out, and there's no shame in it. Disconnection is something many of us do. Probably all of us were taught. And we do it through media, food, thought patterns, emotional coping, and even exercise. People do it through exercise. So a question you can ask yourself is, how are you using movement? Are you using it to disconnect? Are you using it to tune out? Or are you using it to tune in? That's, because we can do that, even though it really should. Ideally, movement is a self-connection kind of thing, right? You're grounding, you're present with yourself because you may be lifting really heavy weights, so you have to be present, right? But sometimes people do it to tune out as well, which again, okay, if you're doing that, just notice it. And so here are a few insights I took away from this year that I want to share with you all. Number one, give yourself space and grace. Give yourself at least, like I said earlier, a year to work toward your fitness goals. Building muscle, changing body composition, training for a sport, or rehabbing an injury all take far more time than we've been led to believe. It takes about 6 weeks just to familiarize your body and nervous system with new movements. Strength really begins to build between weeks 7 and 12, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. And eventually that becomes the foundation for long-term progress in your program. Instead of giving yourself a tiny window, expand that quite a bit, 1 to 2 years, remove the pressure, enjoy the process, And then consistency becomes easier. And eventually movement becomes something you can't imagine living without. Believe me, I say that because through both personal experience and through clients telling me themselves that was their experience. So number 2 is focus on skill-based goals. Those are really great because they're going to take you on a ride. They're going to take you on a journey, right? It's not just about the skill. You think it is in the beginning, but nope. It takes you somewhere you never thought you'd go, right? Just like with my shoulder. I realized my shoulder was not strong as strong as it was. Well, let's put it this way. Your joints, when they're in a certain position, they're very strong. But if they're not aligned or not in a good spot and then you start getting pain there, you have to get it into alignment, into the socket properly where it's moving properly. And once it does, if it's in a new position, you're going to have to strengthen it again in that new position. So it almost feels like starting over, but it's not quite that bad. But that's what I went through with my shoulder as well, and I'm still working on it. So, for example, your first pull-up, a dip, those are all great skill-based goals, lifting a certain percentage of your body weight, strengthening your weakest areas. These goals build ownership and confidence. Aesthetic goals are fine, but still skill-based goals give you practical steps, and they'll lead you where you want to go anyway. So sometimes if you just say, I just want to lose weight, that's a great goal to have, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes it's a little too elusive for people, and it feels a little too overwhelming and daunting. So if we give ourselves a strength goal or a skill-based goal that sometimes can make it, can lead to the same place, but make it a little bit more fun for you, right? Number 3, we want to allow discomfort in our life, like both emotionally and physically, right? When we're working out, right? Working out actually teaches you a lot about discomfort because growth is not comfortable. And so that's why, for example, so many memberships fade out by February because what's on the other side of that discomfort is freedom. So we're not in the discomfort a lot of times long enough to actually see what comes out on the other side. So if we were to hold space for that a little bit longer and know that this is actually leading us to somewhere really beautiful, we would really stick with it. Discomfort is often about pressure and feeling like something is hard. And that is a part of working out. That's what we're pushing through. We're pushing through resistance. We're pushing through the pressure that we feel within the exercises, within the workout as well. And that is hard. It's hard to stay consistent with that. So within the discomfort, you have to also give yourself some rest days, some recovery days, some stretching, and you have to find the balance in that. But we have to go through that in order to create the body we love. We have to do that in order to get that pull-up, get that dip, or in order to not feel anxious because we're not suppressing our feelings, right? We have to be uncomfortable and feel. And then number 4, just get consistent. Just start with something that's completely doable for you this year. Get yourself on a schedule. Make everything super simple. Number 4 and 5 are kind of, I'm going to bring those together, get consistent and keep it simple. We want to keep the goals simple, keep the lifestyle habit changes simple, because if we try to do too much at once, it's a little overwhelming for the brain, and the brain goes back to the familiar right away. And then we don't get anything, we don't change anything this year if we do that. So keep consistent with making one change and make it the best, like put a hierarchy of changes here. So if it's like, I need to get my workouts in at least twice a week, that's going to be top. That's going to be the top priority there. So there's a hierarchy when it comes to your goals too, and it's great to realize this. So for example, if you have a sports-specific goal or a skill-oriented goal or even a strength goal, but you have an injury you're rehabbing, or you have an old injury that hasn't fully healed, that is your priority. Or you have a weak link in the body, that's your priority first before you start working heavily on the skill-based or the strength or the sport-specific goal. Now, sometimes a skill-based goal can take you through rehab steps to get to that skill, like what I'm doing with my shoulder. And sometimes when you're working on a skill, it also reveals an injury you never really got back on track completely, or a joint that needs more strength and more alignment. So therefore, that would be your highest priority, and then you can start working from there. So all that to say, those are some tips for you. Those are some things that I'm sharing, some things that I'm changing this year, or really some of what I shared about distractions. I'm really going to be doing, whether I'm doing the dishes, whether I am taking a walk outside, I'm going to do it without the phone. I'm going to start putting my phone down more, and just having maybe nothing for my brain to do when I'm doing something like a chore. That's one of my resolutions this year, is just to kind of have silence and have more pure presence when I'm doing my daily stuff. As well as I would love to get that dip this year. That would be amazing. And I'm working on my ATG level 3 too, because I just got my level 2 certification happily just yesterday. And so that was really awesome. That was one of my goals as well. It happened pretty quick this year because I'd been working on it last year. And so that's another thing. If you start working and you're doing it for a year, and then maybe you still have that goal next year, well, it'll come pretty quick the next year because you've been working on it the year before, right? So it's a good way to think about it. For me as well, I just want to keep doing my own personal spiritual practice, which is really just connecting with myself, taking the time, more time to recover as well. That's another thing I'm going to be implementing for myself, is actually having like weekly saunas, time where I'm just stretching and I'm not working out, taking days off. Like I haven't been doing that, taking a lot of time off of working out. I've been on a roll, but I'm realizing that I need to do that too in order to give my body a break, to regenerate and to recover properly. So that's another thing I'm implementing this year. What are your inner resolutions this year? What are you doing? How are you connecting with yourself this year, even more deeply than last? That's a big part of it, right? The deeper we connect with ourselves, the deeper we can go with these resolutions, right? The deeper we can commit to ourselves, the deeper we can commit to the people we love as well. Like it's not, when you do that for you, it ripples out to everybody else. It's really a beautiful thing. So how deeply can you commit to yourself this year? That's really the inner resolution. And that's what it really comes down to, is how present can you be with yourself? How aware can you be? It's not about being perfect. It's not about doing everything right. It's not about any of that. It's just being real, just being authentic. It's showing up. It's doing the work week after week, and just being where you're at, right? That's what we're doing. We're accepting ourselves where we are, and we're going from there. And then the joy is on the other side. The strength is on the other side. The love is on the other side. Everything's on the other side if we can be with that which we don't want to, or what we're avoiding, right? And there's nothing better to teach you that than working out. I mean, I feel like that is that relationship that we can build with our body is going to teach us everything. So I believe there's like a text button, I think, on the podcast. You can text me your resolution if you'd like. I would love to hear them or see them. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This has been so much fun. I'm really excited about the energy of 2026. I think it's going to be a really good year. I think it's going to be super unknown. I don't think we're going to know much about what's going to happen because it's going to be very different. But that's okay. If we can get stable and strong in our own bodies, in our own spirit as well, in our own inner world, if we can get stable in ourselves, basically, then we really can handle anything. We can be in the thick of it and still be okay. So that's what we want to do. If this conversation resonated with you and you're ready to explore movement in a more intentional, supportive way, I'd love to invite you into the Thrive Strong community. It's where I share structured programming, mobility work, and education to help you build strength and resilience, both physically and mentally, without burnout or overwhelm. And if you're looking for more individualized support, I also offer personal training both in person here in Portland, Oregon, and online. We work together to create a plan that's specific to your body, your goals, and where you are right now. You can learn more about both options by going to the link in my description. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening, and I will talk to you all again soon.